Hello everyone, how you doing today? Thought I'd show you some updates and some things done by some other authors here regards to MCRN and Kriel. To start with, I have the LR MCRN MX5E-T2. This is basically a Mark MX5E, and it was switched over to MCRN with the look on it, and it was done very well. In fact, I couldn't really see anything I would change on it myself. Doing the same thing, so you can kind of take a look at what the interior looks like and everything else. This is done by Revenant. Awesome work on this, and this is up on the workshop in the MCRN collection right now. So you can find it there if you want to use a alternative MX5E that is well, basically a different faction. So awesome work on that, and I also, I noticed some blockwork changes on the ceiling in there too. It's very slick. Like the colored gray bars in there and everything else too. I did get the Scar Ripper T4 tank out Sunday. Fortunately, right now Steam comments are broken on the workshop, so it doesn't appear anybody can leave any comments. I tried to comment on a couple other people's creations as well, and it errors out every time I try to leave a comment. So it's kind of like dead silence until they can figure that out. But this is up there. Of course, I'm curious if it's got any vulnerabilities or anything that could improve on the design, or maybe a placement of internal parts or something like that. I don't know yet. I do know that this was built to take a lot of damage on the front end. In fact, you can cut the front end off at about this point here, all the way across, and it's not really going to affect too much. Well, it's not going to shut down the tank. You'll lose, of course, your Gatling guns and a lot of your reverse thrust and a couple turrets if you lost the whole front end, but it should still keep on ticking. As in the final on the interior here, I just get this over to Mood Light to show you what it came out to look like in the end. Grungy, how I wanted it. Kind of got that darker light in there. It kept the storage bay in place. I know it was brought up to maybe merge that with the harvest bay. Could have done that, but I don't know. I guess I like a little bit of the separation for organization. Do like the fact that it's got the increased ammo bay, which even though I'm not full right now, well, it was when I started this, but then the tank started shooting random things. Still can get quite a bit of your primary ammo in here, and a little bit more than what you see in here now. So you can quite a bit more actually. Yeah, still not full. Yeah, about there. So it could stay fighting for quite a long time, and I did play around a little bit with some LCDs in here, trying something similar to what I've tried in some other ships, just a little bit different again, giving you a little bit of visual laser looking things, I guess, on the sides. And before I release this too, I did add some passenger seats in here. I figured you definitely want a passenger. It's got two multi-turrets on the back of it, so you could have a tank operator and up to two passengers, and you could go to town like salvaging POIs and things like that, and still be like offensive about it too. Have a tank pilot if you really wanted to. But yep, happy that this is out and finished. I do believe out of what I've got, it is the most powerful tank I've got working at this point in time. It would be a notch up from the MCRN Ballista, but similar in a lot of ways to the Ballista as well, in like the turret layout and general interior concept. It's just this one's a little beefier. It's got a lot more strafing thrusters. A little more maneuverable because of that, and heavier armor on the front. One last thing though, keep in mind too, if you are using this tank, This whole area here could be technically filled in with more combat steel. Um, I didn't put any parts up here, and there's no storage up here. There's nothing up here to really get damaged, short of a couple LCDs, but you'd have to go through a lot of stuff first before those would get hit as well. So you would be already hurting pretty bad at that point in time. So next on the list here, we have the Kriel Subjugator. And this is by Siege. And this is in the Kriel collection now and on the workshop. This is meant to be, I believe, a Kriel AI-controlled orbital patrol ship. However, it does have some player function in here as well. Very nicely done. In the end, yeah, it's really detailed. It has a lot of cool aesthetics and things going on with it. Very interesting layout on the design here as well. Take a peek inside here a minute, get an idea on what you're going to see here. The layout of the ship, obviously, it's quite different. So it has like two big extension arms, which you can actually walk through on those as well. Let's get the lighting dark here. But yeah, really captured the look of the Kriel just perfectly. And a lot to explore in the ship, and some really cool LCDs too. Yeah, look at all that fun stuff. This is just part of the ship, and it will keep on going up to the bridge over here. That's cool too. I love how the LCDs were overlaid over the new decorative piece here. That's slick. Look at all that stuff. Yeah, I gotta at some point get some LCDs into mine. I'm pretty boring, I guess. All the LCDs I put in are either for directory assistance or telling you how much storage you got, or where your storage bays are. So that's pretty much what I've always done with LCDs, but there's so much more that can be done with them. And yeah, this even has some directory assistance here. This is a big ship, a lot of different areas, and you can walk down these other arms, and there's crew quarters, and there's all of like the fuel and engineering areas, and yeah, just a lot there to check out. I can't say for sure if it's going to be a AI controlled ship in the official game or not yet. Well, I guess we'll see, and the devs would have to evaluate that and take a look at it. And same idea here for the Kriel-Overseer. Now, this is an Overseer that Escarli has been working on to have it perform that function as a like an orbital Kriel patrol vessel. And he had to make some cuts to it to try to reduce the size class. Now, this is a really big ship to start with. It was originally size class 19. This version is down to size class 15. One of the main cuts probably done to it was the lighting, though. I think just about all the interior lights were removed out of the ship. So when it's dark, it's dark. You do see the texture lights, but you don't see the rest of the lights or the effects or all the other stuff going on. But that was in an effort to reduce the size class. I can't say for sure if this is going to make it in the official game either. It was questionable due to how big it is and what their maximum size class they wanted to have for orbital patrol ships, and this probably exceeded that size class by a fair margin. I would say probably keeping them below size class 10 or maybe even 15. Now, if it's 15, this ship would work as it sits now. So I definitely hope to see it in the game as a faction ship. That would be very cool. And yeah, it's a lot of work even doing what he's doing. I totally get that. There's a lot of things that fluctuate here, and I'm seeing some other changes too. Some things I didn't quite see before. Little blockwork changes that I would have to compare it against the original to really look at it. But very slick. Now something else by Escarli here. This is, these names get tricky, I tell you. This is the oh boy, Cinum Platarium. I'm pretty sure I totally butchered that name. I bet you it's Latin again. Then that's the same thing I was doing too. I was renaming naming a lot of the Kriel things after Latin names or Latin translations of names. This is a space station, and it is under under construction yet, so it's by far not finished. When I spawn it here on the surface, you're not seeing like the full texture lights and stuff. Even though it's got power, it's weird because it's a POI, and so it doesn't spawn in quite perfectly right the way I'm doing it. But this is slick. The design on this is really different. Cool, different though. It's just very, very detailed too. This whole assembly over here. This is yeah, it's just cool. It looks like it's going to be pretty devastating to attack. And obviously a lot of areas to finish up in it yet, but just wanted to show you that. As Escarli said, I could show you what this is all about here. And this is again designed to be a POI for the Kriel faction. So a lot of Kriel stuff, which is really, really cool. Now on other things, I did start in on a Tier 1 CV for Excalibur's challenge. However, I'm probably going to abandon what I started now. I don't have it here. I was trying to do something asymmetrical for it, but the CPU limitations are wrecking me right now, where I can't get the minimum function I would want on any CV on it right now, at least with my current design. Maybe I was trying to make it a little bit too big. It's probably the issue. But the thrusters are so expensive. I wanted it to, I thought about trying to make it like a dedicated role-specific CV, like a miner, but even at that, I'm failing. With a miner, the problem is CPU again, where if I try to get enough mining storage in it and enough lift thrust to move it and combine that with a warp drive, it's way over the CPU already, and that's without a shield or any guns or anything. So I'm not sure what I'm going to build. I don't know. Again, I never wanted to build a Tier 1 CV. To me, it seems like I just don't have a use for them. At least in my play style, it's just like if I want a CV, and it's going to cost a little bit, and have me, like the starter CV is about a 2.5 hour build time, maybe a little bit less on some. But I want it to have docking. I want it to have, some kind of farm. I want it to have some kind of production area. Or if it was a specific thing, like it was just meant to mining, then it needs to have the proper storage and harvest storage for mining, the drills. It probably should have a warp drive. And I literally, I just cannot pull it off at Tier 1 with 500,000 CPU available. It would, so far I can't pull it off. Now, where there's a will, there's a way. So, and I know people can do it. It's just it's not fitting with what I would want for a ship, and therefore I don't like it. Therefore, I lose interest in building it. And I could make it upgradable to Tier 2, but there's problems with that too, which in a lot of cases you would literally need to swap out thrusters and things like that, because the thrusters are the biggest CPU hog on something that's that short on CPU to start with. And of course I don't really want any CV without warp drive, and then it should have some kind of defense, and all these little things, making this challenge probably even tougher than the last challenge, which was to do a moving asymmetrical build. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that one yet. we'll figure it out. But I am excited. I do want to start in on building a SV for probably the Scar right now, since I don't have any, and then a Scar Miner. And the Scar Miner, the intent of it would be to be different from the traditional miners I built, in which I would, on this one I would run a mining turret that's facing downwards, so you can pull up over the ore, as suggested in several comments, and I hear that works quite well. So I wanted to try it. I guess the big thing you got to watch out for is you don't want to like drill a hole under you and then fall in and get stuck. So I'd have to do something about that to maybe make the base of it wider, so it can like support up on the side walls of the hole that you're digging with it. Things like that. So next release I plan on putting out is this Scar Defense Tower. I think I'm just going to run with the solar one that you see here, and not the one without the solar. Neat thing about this little tower, though, is it's a tier 1, which is going to make it very cheap. It's using a little bit of cobalt, though, and I think this had to do with the storage controller. But it's mostly stone, and it's relatively cheap. Let's see, what is the build time on this? Let me take a look at that. Actually, I think I had this officially named down here somewhere. It's not, it doesn't have any kind of exotic name by any stretch. Yeah, Scar Watcher T1S, or I might ditch the S on it. This was the non-solar version. This is the solar version. So it's just Scar Watcher T1, essentially. Unlock level 7, 40-minute build time, ammo storage in it. Let me double check what I had that set to. That right there. So 56,000 ammo storage on it, which is quite a lot. Probably far more than you probably would need, but you could deploy this and load it up with a bunch of 30 and 15 millimeter rounds and have this thing stay functional for a long time, providing it doesn't get destroyed by some bad guys somehow. But I think the turret arrangement on this should work pretty well. I'm trying to cover all angles, including straight up and down. If you take a look at how some of these turrets can angle, they can actually hit quite a bit, even though they're mounted on the side. But then in combination with all those different turrets at the different angles, you're getting a wide range of coverage on this. And then the solar will definitely help it stay in power as well. So it doesn't use much power to start with. So expect that this upcoming weekend. Following weekend, it's probably going to be releasing the whatever I decide to build for Excalibur's challenge, and possibly the weekend after that, maybe this guy needs to get out too. This isn't much. It's a typical. It's more of a storage HV than anything else. It's pretty maneuverable. Has a lot of your base function in it, 14K storage, 1500 harvest, and 1500 ammo storage. Then you got interior cockpit access and a constructor. And this is tier 2, pretty inexpensive. It's a 48-minute build time. Because it's tier 2, it uses a little bit of this stuff over here due to the CPU block. But that is about it. Only has 2 turrets on it. These turrets probably could be swapped out for multi-tools, or at least one of them, or something like that. So that will be out as well, and then hopefully some new SVs and stuff after that. Ooh, there goes the tank shooting at stuff again. It does that randomly. But that's pretty much all I had for today. I'll try to show more what I'm working on the next video, and any other updates to some Kriel stuff coming into the game. Or getting worked on to the game. I won't say it's coming into the game, but it's a proposal for that. So always trying to expand out the Kriel. At some point, I'm going to pitch the idea to the devs on the Scar faction as well. I have not done that yet. I wanted to build a couple more things and maybe even have some kind of POI to support them or convert something to a POI. But I got a lot of ideas for the Scar, and I've been trying to focus a fair amount of attention on to them. But I also got to get back to some Kriel, the 5th Kriel POI plus the large Kriel space station, which is going to be a pretty time-consuming effort to get those done. So in the meantime, building like an SV or HV are drastically quicker in building these big things. So I'm kind of a couple weeks ago, it was, God, was it 2 weeks? I think 3 weeks ago now, the MCRN Leviathan finally was released, and that kind of the amount of time and effort put into that kind of made me not want to immediately get back into building something really big again. So I can save up some energy for the next big project, which will probably end up being that Kriel space station, getting that all finished. It's pretty big, and I actually think it's going to be just as big, if not bigger, than some of the other space stations I made in the past, like the Sentinel or Fatus. Those are both class 10 space station, so I have a feeling this Kriel one will probably be a little bigger than that. It might even be close, knocking on the door of class 20 when it's done. We'll see. But anyway, you all have yourself a good day, and enjoy everything, and I will see you later.